Hello, team, and welcome to CSE 163. Like I mentioned in the email I sent earlier, um, winter quarter this quarter is going to be a bit funky because we are starting on a Wednesday start, which is very unusual for winter quarters. Which means that we're going to have to kind of compress a lot of stuff near the beginning, particularly the stuff about the syllabus and course logistics. So we made this set of optional videos that walk through some of the most important syllabus details to help guide you when you're reading through the syllabus. This isn't supposed to be a replacement for reading the syllabus, but an aid for doing so. This is not going to be part of a required lesson. We're just going to expect you to be familiar with the syllabus. But we will reserve time in our first class session on Wednesday for Q&A about the course because we didn't get a chance to do that on this missing Monday. So we're going to have a few recorded videos here where we're going to be thinking about the course and kind of the most important highlights from the syllabus. So in this video, what we're going to talk a little bit about is an overview of what is this class and who is taking this class, and a little bit about the course staff. And in a couple other videos, I'll talk a little bit more about course logistics. So what is CSE 163? So I like to think about this course in terms of what we call the competencies that you'll learn leaving the course. So in particular, I outline 4 big goals that I think that by the end of this class, you should be able to do. Now, it's totally okay if a lot of the words in these goals don't make sense yet. That's why you're taking this class. So the first competency I kind of think our course is around is more advanced programming concepts than your first programming course, be that CSE 142 or now CSE 122. Or if you took the Python class, CSE 160, you're going to be learning more advanced programming, writing bigger programs with multiple classes and modules. So you're just going to solve more complicated tasks. We're specifically going to be thinking about how to work with different types of data, from tabular data like a spreadsheet to textual data like a book to images or stuff about maps with geospatial data and more. So a lot of the units in our class are going to be organized around working with different data types and the programming challenges and analysis challenges that come with those different data types. And since we're going to be working with data, we want to also introduce you to the tools that data scientists use when they're thinking about processing data. So we're going to be learning about the ecosystem of tools like Jupyter notebooks and various data science libraries that people wrote, such as scikit-image, scikit-learn, and pandas data frames in particular. And then finally, kind of throughout the course, we're also going to be thinking about a lot of general computer science topics as a computer science class, from things about code efficiency to managing different types of data structures to management, thinking also about the ethics of a lot of the things that we're talking about. So we're going to go over a lot of these kind of things. So I always think this is a useful 4-point summary of what you're going to be learning in this class, but there's lots and lots of details to be discussed over the next 10 weeks. So that's the class you're taking. But one thing I also like to think about is who's actually taking this class. So this class is designed to take students from lots of different backgrounds. I know a lot of students are pretty nervous at first, saying that the course might be in Python. If you haven't seen Python yet, don't worry, the course is designed for you. So I generally find that there are broadly 3 types of students entering into 163. And the experience that you'll see will look a little bit different depending on what your experience was. So one experience we often see are students that took CSE 122 or CSE 142, the old intro course. If you're coming into this class from 122, you already know a lot of programming skills, but in Java. You know how to write programs with loops and if statements. You know how to work with files or arrays. So since you already know how to program, the first couple weeks are going to really be thinking about how to program in Python. So you're going to basically learn everything you already know about programming in the first 2 weeks, but in Python this time. And it's going to go pretty quickly. So the most important thing to keep remembering is you know almost all of these concepts, at least at the beginning of the quarter. You just don't know the words or how to say them in Python. And so the most important advice I can give you is practice, practice, practice. Try to relate it to stuff that you've been learning earlier, that's stuff that you already know, but really trying to practice that this programming in Python is going to be key, especially if you're coming into this class without knowing it. Again, it's designed for you, but it will take a lot of practice. And that's one thing I want to be emphasizing a lot. Now, many of you are coming from our first programming course in Python, CSE 160. You already know most of the stuff that we'll be covering in the first week or week and a half about working with control structures, if statements and loops, working with files, using data structures on Python. So the first week or so is going to be a bit of a review if you've already taken 160, but this is a good chance for you to take stock, think about how you want to be tackling the course. I promise you will be getting to brand new stuff during the second week. Um, some of you have also taken a pretty advanced CSE course, maybe CSE 143 or beyond, like CSE 373. You're more than welcome in this class. I would just note that it is a 100 level class, so it's not going to be focusing on a lot of super advanced programming that you'd say do in CSE 1, CSE 373. This class is designed to be complementary with what you do in CSE 143 or now newly CSE 123. So there might be a little bit of touching on the same topics, but we're really thinking about trying to tackle these at different angles. And that first competency I outlined before is that kind of level of programming difficulty is really aimed at that CSE 143 or 123 angle. Again, so this is it's the last step in an introductory class. So that's who I think you are, at least at a high level. All of your experience will be a little bit different. Let me talk a little bit about who I am, the person right up there. My name is Hunter Schaefer. I use he, him pronouns. I'm an assistant teaching professor at the Allen School, and I actually was hired here, I don't know, it's like 5 years at this point, to create CSE 163. So this is a class I designed from scratch, and I've been teaching it a lot. It's one of my favorite classes to teach. I mentioned in my email that at the end of the quarter, you're going to work on your own final project of your choosing. And that's my favorite part of the quarter, is actually just seeing, for many of you, you're starting right now with zero Python experience. And in 10 weeks, you're going to be making these awesome projects using Python to analyze data. We'll talk a little bit more about how to join office hours and that stuff later, but I just wanted to quickly mention that my office hours are going to be on Tuesdays from 1 to 3 in my office, CSE 530. I have my email here. I will say most of the time, I encourage you not to email me. The reason being that there are 250 something of you and one of me. My inbox fills up very quickly, and I want to make sure that you get the fastest response possible. So almost all of the questions about course content or logistics should actually go on our Ed discussion board. That way, anyone, including your peers or the course staff or me, can respond to them, and that will get you the fastest, most accurate response possible. You can always post privately if you only want to send a message to the course staff. What I would say is my personal email is great for like pretty serious extenuating circumstances that you don't want to share with the whole course staff. You're more than welcome to email me in those cases. I totally understand that. I will try to respond to you as quickly as possible. What I would say is the worst thing that happens is if you email me, I might just say, hey, this is a good thing to ask on the discussion board. Please ask there. So never be afraid of emailing me. Just note that I want to direct most traffic to the discussion board so everyone can participate in that. So I'm not answering the same question over and over. However, I couldn't run this class alone. I would not be able to do this without all the awesome TAs. So we have an awesome set of 19 TAs that are going to be working with us this quarter that are here to help you succeed. They're going to be hosting office hours. They're going to be having their own quiz sections, and you should utilize them as a resource to help you succeed in this class, because that's what they're here to do. I'm paying them the big bucks to help you in this class. So please, please, please utilize the TAs as a resource. Ask questions, visit their office hours, go to sections. And you can learn more about the TAs on the course website. So that's going to wrap it up for this first video, but in the other videos, I'm going to introduce more specific details about the course and the logistics that we'll be using in it.